Welcome back to The Explainer. All right, today we're tackling a massive, honestly fascinating challenge right at the heart of the whole AI boom. We're looking at a vision proposed by Codata to fix what a lot of people see as the broken economics of AI data. If you've ever found yourself wondering how the actual people who create the raw knowledge used to train AI get compensated or, properly credited, you are in exactly the right place. Every single time you post, write an article, upload a photo, or just share a random insight online, you're actively contributing to this vast digital ecosystem. So today, we're going to unpack how to align credit and capital in this totally new frontier, making sure the people actually powering the AI get to share in its success. Let's get right into it. So I want to kick things off with a bit of a weird question. What do Ming Dynasty bricks and modern artificial intelligence actually have in common? I know, it sounds like a riddle, right? You've got an ancient clay block on one side and a cutting-edge neural network on the other. But we're actually diving into a surprisingly timeless human problem here. See, this isn't just about lines of code or complex algorithms or giant server farms. At its very core, this is about the fundamental way human beings collaborate. It's about how we build massive structures together and how we make sure that the people who did the heavy lifting aren't simply erased by history the second the project is finished. Okay, let's dive into this, because the answer to that riddle is all about credit and responsibility, really. Way back between 1368 and 1644, workers building the Great Wall of China would literally stamp their names right into the bricks they were laying. They did this for quality control, accountability essentially, but it also served as a permanent mark of credit for the builders. Their names were literally baked into the foundation of the empire. Now, fast forward to 2002. Think about Star Wars Episode 2. At the end of a movie, you see this massive, seemingly endless scroll of digital effects credits. That scroll perfectly mirrors those Ming-era workers. Whether you're stacking physical stones to protect a dynasty or rendering millions of digital clones on a screen, humans have always needed a systematic way to track exactly who built what. And that brings us right to the core philosophy driving Codata's vision. There's a concept from the source material that perfectly captures human psychology here. Financial reward motivates, recognition transcends. Think about that for a second. Contributors to any huge project absolutely seek financial reward. Money motivates. Of course it does. We all have bills to pay. But the desire for recognition, that deeply ingrained fundamental need to be seen and acknowledged for what you've contributed to the world, that is a much deeper human drive. Creators inherently long to share credit. Sometimes attributing that credit is easy. But in these massive global collaborative networks like modern AI, tracking who contributed what specific piece of knowledge is incredibly complex. Honestly, sometimes it feels near impossible. So how do we actually pull this off in the digital age? Well, we kind of have to rethink a word we use every day: ownership. In this new framework, ownership is not the end goal. It's actually just the means to distribute financial reward and make credit attribution visible. Codata views ownership not as, hoarding a piece of digital property behind a strict paywall, but as essential infrastructure. The entire goal is to build a system where financial reward can be distributed fairly and where credit attribution is completely 100% visible to everyone involved. It's designed so that those who build are never forgotten and those who give are always seen. That is a massive paradigm shift. Let's move on and look at how this fits into the broader AI ecosystem we're all interacting with today. When you step back and look at the AI landscape today, you've basically got two distinct camps of builders. On one side, we have the AI builders. These are the folks creating the actual systems, writing the sophisticated code, and historically taking on the massive early financial risks of launching a startup or training a giant new model. But on the flip side, we have the knowledge builders. These are the millions of everyday people, researchers, artists, writers, everyone who supplies the vast oceans of human insight that are literally required to train that AI. Without this raw data, the algorithms have absolutely nothing to learn from. Both of these groups are essential builders. One literally cannot function without the other. But historically, actually scratch that. In the tech world, historically really just means like a few years ago, this relationship hasn't been a two-way street at all. I want you to consider your own digital footprint for a second. Think about everything you've ever uploaded, written, or shared online over the last decade. In the old world model, AI builders took the risk, sure, but they were granted access to our vast oceans of human insight to train their models. And what about the knowledge builders? Well, according to the source, they earned very little at first, and ironically, they ended up losing even more agency and value as the AI success exploded. The old world model essentially just leaves the knowledge builders behind, completely locked out of the immense value they helped generate. So it generally plays out like this. AI companies take on these high upfront costs to access or scrape training data, which is a hurdle. But then, as their products scale up and reach millions of users, their profits just absolutely skyrocket. But what about the contributors? Under the traditional model, they receive flat, severely limited rewards, maybe a tiny one-time payment, or in most cases, absolutely nothing at all. So as the AI company's profits shoot through the roof, the contributor benefits completely stagnate. The end result? A massive, continuously widening gap. It's a hugely frustrating misalignment of incentives, where the people providing the foundational knowledge simply don't share in the exponential upside of what they helped build. Now, we aren't just here to point out the problem. We want to dig into the solution Codata is proposing, and it's a really elegant one, a royalty-based model. Instead of a cheap, one-time buyout for your data, or let's be real, simply having it taken for free, contributors get an ongoing slice of the pie. It fundamentally rewrites the rules of the AI economy. And what is absolutely crucial here is that it does this without acting as a gate to innovation. This isn't about slapping handcuffs on AI builders or creating unnecessary bottlenecks. It's about realigning the economics so that literally everyone wins as the technology advances and becomes more profitable.
Now, what's really interesting about this model is how it changes the game across three key operational areas. First up, upfront costs. Traditionally, these are incredibly high for AI companies trying to buy or license data right out of the gate. The royalty model defers those early costs, which significantly lowers the barrier to entry for new startups. Second, risk. It's inherently super high in the traditional model, but minimized in the royalty model because, well, you only pay as you succeed. And third, contributor rewards. Instead of a flat one-time payout that flatlines forever, the royalty model offers proportional rewards. As the AI product succeeds and brings in real revenue, the contributors are rewarded proportionally through ongoing payments. It's a continuous, sustainable cycle of value.
Let's summarize what this actually looks like in the real world. Without those massive upfront costs acting as a giant roadblock, AI builders can just keep moving fast. They can experiment, push boundaries, do what they do best, which is absolutely critical in tech. But the real game changer here is that knowledge builders finally rise with them. Because financial rewards are tied directly to that ongoing success, both sides are suddenly fully aligned in their purpose. It goes from being this extractive relationship to a true partnership. Together, they lower early-stage risk, they unlock entirely new avenues for creation, and most importantly, they share in the long-term wealth that they are building together. It just beautifully unites both sides of the equation. Which brings us to a final, pretty profound thought to wrap up today's explainer. As AI scales, and we all know it's scaling at a completely unprecedented historical pace right now, who is actually going to get the credit for the knowledge it uses? Are we going to stubbornly stick to the old world where the knowledge builders are left behind, staring at a widening gap? Or will we finally build the infrastructure to ensure that those who give are always seen and fairly rewarded? It's a massive question about the future of human collaboration, fairness, and recognition in the digital age. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this vision today. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.